All right, let's go ahead and get started. I would like to welcome everybody for attending the webinar, Working Smarter with Construction Technology for Improved Production. My name is Mitchell Kennedy. I am the VP of Sales and Marketing here at Alpha Bold. On the presentation today, we have two other people. We have Tayeb Ali, who is the VP of Consulting. He's going to be doing the majority of the presentation. Along with that, we also have somebody who is focused in our vertical in construction. He's a principal consultant. That's Mahmoud Tanash. And I'm excited to get started and have everybody with us. So Tayeb, let me pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Mitch. Hello, everyone. So today, the agenda for the webinar is to again focus on the challenges faced by general contractors. I looked at the registrants. So we have lots of roofing companies as well. So I might show you some examples for roofers as well, just to keep it relevant to that. But most of the focus is going to be on general contractors. Then we are going to talk about BUILDFitters. BUILDFitters is nothing but a set of packaged IP, intellectual property, on top of Dynamics 365 platform. We will have demos throughout the webinar, but in the end, we'll have probably a more detailed demonstration of the system. For this webinar, rather than having the flow from, say, buyout phase all the way to pre-construction, construction, post-construction, what we are planning on doing is to maybe show you bits and pieces of the modules that we have built or we have enhanced. Then we'll talk about the benefits of this platform, Q&A, and some of the offerings that we have for the attendees of this webinar. So with that, I'm going to just jump on to some of the important things. So again, we're going to start with challenges here. So on your screen, you see some of the core challenges that I plan on addressing today, or showcasing how BuildFitter focuses on those. The first one is bidding. Now, bidding can be extensive, and it can vary based on the fact that whether you're a general contractor or you are a subspecialty contractor, or you're just someone who is a mechanical or an HVAC firm. But in general, companies spend around 45%, or 4 to 6 weeks, 45% of the organization spend on just generating bids and estimates. And our claim is that using our IP, you can simplify that. So what I want to do is, without any further ado, I want to show you here an example of that. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to share the screen and walk you through this. So we have here a module which you see up on your screen, which is bidding within iPad. In here, and by the way, you guys can all see that, Mitch? You see bidding on iPad?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. So what I want to showcase here is more like the front end side of our bidding module. And then I'm going to show you the more detailed back-end perspective of that as well. The back-end view is going to be more for the general contractors. And what I'm showing you now is maybe more for smaller organization where you're doing a site visit and you want to have a quick estimation done. I also want you to note that it's all built on top of Dynamics, so it's very configurable. There are multiple versions of that. In the handouts that we are sharing, we'll share maybe another version of the same app, which you will see would be significantly different from this. So what happens here is that your back office team is scheduling an on-site visit for you. And what you do is you just click on create estimate and you move to the next phase. And this is where you will select the person or the commercial site that you're visiting. So you pick up the address. And as you select the address, you can select any service. So like I said, we have lots of roofers who signed up for this. So I'm just going to say it's a roof repair use case that I'm going to use for the sake of this demonstration. So once I put in these comments, and I'm doing it on my iPad on purpose, the reason for this video was to showcase that somebody going on site can take an iPad and they can do the whole estimation. I click next here, and this is one view only of what we have. So you have material, equipment, labor, service, subcontractor, and miscellaneous up there. I'm just going to go in here, and I can pick up any product in here. So I'm going to say 5,000 wood shingles and click on this add button. And now this is added in my materials. And I can go through equipment, and similarly, any equipment catalog I have in my platform, and I'll show you the platform in a second. I can select from those. I can go to labor, and I can select, okay, how many hours do I think I need for this? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say I need 200 hours for this, right? So I just put in those 200 hours in here. And if I wanted, I could have picked service company. I could have picked up a subcontractor. Any miscellaneous charges I have, I could have picked those as well. But just to keep it simple, I am not going to go into those details, and I'm going to hit the next button here. And as I do that, it is going to take me to the next screen where I can take photos. I'm just taking some photos here outside of my house to just demonstrate to you. So you can quickly take some of the photos in here, and I'm just going to skip through that. So it shows you your photos, and you can have even sketching on these photos as well. So as you're on site, essentially you're using the camera of your iPad and you're taking those photographs. Once you are done with all of this and you click the next day, I'm going to pause here. And this is where it's showing you the preview of the estimate. It's showing you the images that you have. It's showing you the products that you have. It's showing you the total price you have. And once you hit the create button here, that's where we have multiple flows. Again, it's a very configurable platform. You could send it directly to the owner of the house that you're visiting, or the owner who has the signatory authority, and they can sign it through DocuSign, and you're all done with your initial bid. But obviously, this is for smaller organizations. But if you have like a larger organization and you're a general contractor, then there's a backend piece of it, which I'm going to show you next. So if I come in here, what happens is that as soon as I click the create button in there, it ends up creating a bid for me. And I'm using this simple use case for this, but think of this, that as a general contractor, you're getting the takeoff sheets and you're getting all these proposals from different vendors in your estimation cycle. And as they come in, you can start incorporating them in here. So you can have all of your materials lined up. You can have all of your equipment lined up like this. You can have the labor for different trades and cost codes and cost classes. So you have all the details in the system. It's fairly robust in terms of giving the capability for the general contractors to be able to do extensive and elaborate estimation within the system. It also allows you to incorporate in any subcontractors, any services that you're getting from external parties. So for example, I have installed flooring and lighting that I'll be outsourcing. So I can get those estimates and I can just put those in as well. It's also very easy to bulk create some of the things in here. So you can obviously go one by one, and I'll show you different views here. And this is mostly core dynamics functionality that we have customized. So you can see here, I have concrete, I can select all the products I need, and then I can go and change the quantities here. So this is one way of doing that. But another thing I can do is if I do similar kind of estimates on my projects of bidding, I can create bundles. And in that, I can say, okay, I need this bundle. And I click on that, and it will expand, and it has all of these products in it. And then I can just change quantities, and I can click add bundle, and automatically adds that to my estimate. What happens next is what I'm not going to show today, but the idea is that once this bid is closed as awarded, it will automatically take you to the next stage, and it is going to use that for generating a proposal, getting signatures on the proposal, things that I have showed you in previous webinars. And if you haven't seen our webinars, then we have a YouTube channel that our marketing will send out to you, and you can see some of the demonstration videos there. But it essentially generates the budget for you. So what we are trying to achieve here is that through this, we want to make sure that we could reduce the effort that goes into the bidding process and reduce the time, which if you saw in my original slide, it was 45% of them are taking 4 to 6 weeks, and we can reduce it to a matter of days from there. The second challenge that I want to highlight here is core to general contractors, of course, which is project management. So the challenge we have there is that in project management, there are lots of errors. There is no easy way to assign tasks and capture details, and to capture the whole team that is part of the overall project. So what I want to do in that case is I want to show you again a quick glimpse of the platform as to what it has to offer there. So what you see on your screen is my project view, and I have lots of tabs here. Not all of them are going to be relevant again for the smaller organization, but for some of the GCs, they're very relevant. But you can hide them, so they're all configurable based on your requirements. So when we onboard a customer, we can toggle a button and say they don't need, for example, budgeting or progress tracking. But from the project standpoint, in terms of the challenges that you saw, which were mostly related to errors, data being lost 30%, failure to capture relevant data, the first thing that you have in here is you have this team section. And you can go in and you can create your internal, your stakeholders, and your field teams. But the piece which we feel gives you maximum benefit from overall project management and staying on top of your tasks is the scheduler that we have. So what we have is a very nice and easy to use scheduler where you can assign tasks to people. And as you assign them tasks, it will show you all the people that you had in the team section that I showed before. So only those team members are available here, and I can just assign it to them. And I'll show you a video in the end where how they can then receive this task that is assigned to them, and they can log their time against that. But and you have like this timeline view here as well that gives you the Gantt chart view of this. You can see it by month, by quarter. All those details are kind of listed in here. And then there is obviously the aspect of this where as you're doing this, you're generating documents. What I mean by that is, let's say if I have my different vendors that I want against my project, I can come in here and I can say, okay, a request for proposal. And as you generate this request for proposal, it automatically puts these in the document section in here. So if I go to the documents, which again is a huge pain point with project management and how to store documents in a way that you don't lose information. So for example, I can go in here and I can click on the design folder. And as I click on this design folder, you see my design documents are in here. If I go to my the RFP folder, the request for proposal folder, any request for proposals I send to different vendors, they're automatically stored in this as I click this action button here. So it's not only storing your documents in the right place, it's also generating them automatically so that you don't have to download them, save it on desktop, and upload them. So it's helping you keep things organized across your project management as you work on the tasks that you have against the project. And we'll talk more about the scenario, full-fledged scenario that we want to cover for general contractor. But I just wanted to give you this overview on how it alleviates some of the pain points on the project management side of things. And with that, the next thing I want to show here is you see the last pain point I have is 82% want more collaboration with their contractors. 60% face communication and coordination challenges. And then there's lots of manual transfer of data. So what we did in order to kind of solve those issues was we have a collaborate button up here. So I'm just going to bring it right in here. You can see I can hit this collaborate button and it opens up this project within the Teams view. So if I go in here and show this to you, let me bring it up. It is going to just, I hit collaborate here and it's going to say, okay, which Teams channel do you want to open? And I'm going to select this. And I hit start collaborating here. It is going to pull open my Teams and it is going to open this whole project within my team. And then I can start talking to people. I can start talking to the team that I had put together. And let me just bring it over and show it to you. So just give me 1 second here. So this is kind of how our collaboration enhancements look like within the system. So you can see everything that I showed you in the project, my whole schedule, every detail is kind of going to show up in here. And as it loads in here, I can start now talking to people. I can tag them. I can ask them questions. I can see who is in my team for this project. So you can see I have here an owner, construction manager, project manager. I can reach out to them. I can ask them questions. I can tag them, and I can start collaborating with them. I can also share any details with them, like in terms of the documents, so that they have access to those documents as well. So I'm effectively collaborating on this project, and that helps us kind of remove some of the pain points that we discussed here, which is all the challenges that you have across the collaboration. So these are the three main challenges that I wanted to just highlight because they are huge for general contractors. But what we have also seen is, if I go to the next slide here, there are some tasks that you are performing as a general contractor or a subspecialty contractor, which help you improve performance, like communication, the ones that we highlighted, project execution, using a nice construction management tool. But there are still some non-optimal tasks like conflict resolution, rework and mistakes, and looking for project data. And what we have tried to do through our solution is to make information flow in a way that it's easy to access information. It's easy to reduce mistakes and rework because you have all of your documentation available to you. And conflict resolution comes down to better collaboration, to be honest, right? Because you have to be able to effectively collaborate with all the parties involved. And that's another non-optimal task, which takes 16.2% of the time that hopefully if you use Dynamics as a platform will help you remove some of those barriers that you have to your success. Okay.
Dave, I'm sorry to cut you. Actually, we just have one question from an attendee.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So they're asking, we have challenges with managing our field team. Can your solution provide field solutions?
Absolutely. So I'm going to showcase a couple of field solutions as we get to the demonstration. When we talk about field solutions, so understand that within the AEC industry, you could be a subspecialty contractor. And then what you have is you have a project and you have foremen and your journeyman and apprentice that are working on the field. So what we did to solve that problem is that we have built apps that your apprentice and journeyman and subcontractors can use as well. So that is more project focused, and I'll show you that. And then in addition to that, on the field side, we have obviously the core field service module, which is more for your work orders that come in. So you could do work order dispatching, and then you have your field team go on site and your superintendents can see their schedule and where they are going. And I'll showcase both of those when we get to the core demo of this webinar. Any other question?
Actually, we do have one more. There's another question. It is, we are using Dynamics 365. Can we use components of this solution?
Yes, so the perfect timing for that. So let me just explain this slide, and as towards the end, I'll also answer your question. So when we look at the IP that we have created on Dynamics 365, it's kind of specific to the AEC industry. So for example, Dynamics would give you core field service, but it would not have components like submittals and RFIs. It would not have document management in context like I showed you, where I showed you that you click on the RFP button, it stores the RFP documents, right? So it will not have some of those components in there. It will not have project management like I was showing you, where you have a scheduler and you're assigning tasks. So we just enhance the platform. And then we have the mapping of the platform onto these phases. So we just created modules that would allow us to cover pre-construction, construction, and post-construction phases. Having said that, if you are using Dynamics, you can pick up any of these modules. So you can say, I'm using Dynamics, I like what I have, but I really like the project management piece that you showed. So you can just take the project management scheduler. You can, and I'll show you some of these features. We have a vendor qualification and vendor selection and vendor management module. You can say, okay, I just want vendor management because I have Dynamics, but I don't have that. You can say, okay, I'm doing my bidding in Excel. And I'll show you, we can import an Excel, or you can see, I showed you how you can use our bidding module. So absolutely, it's not rip and replace. It's more like you can add our modules on top of, if you're using Dynamics already, on top of what you're using in Dynamics. In terms of the areas of focus that we have, we cover sales, we cover analytics, we cover field service, we cover project management. Accounting, we cover only through integrations, because the way Dynamics, as if you guys know, works is that you have Dynamics F&O, and you have different dynamic systems that we can use in order to showcase that. So we have that, and then we have vendor and equipment management as well. I'll come to these benefits probably after the demo. So with that, I'll go to the next slide. Our focus, like I shared before, is to help AEC companies increase productivity. Obviously, when I say productivity, it's a large umbrella term, but all the things I discussed in terms of the breakdown are incorporated into that. So our hope is that we are able to use the modules that we have, and we are able to help organization gain the efficiencies that I referenced in my first slide. But what we focus on is so that you could focus on what's more important. Personalization is huge because the flow can be overwhelming. We live in an industry which is not, when it comes to the end users, they're not the most tech savviest of the folks that are available out there because they're not supposed to have technical education, not all of them. So we need to make sure that we have streamlined workflows and easy to use apps. So that's why hopefully you'll be able to appreciate the ease of use of the system. So with that, let me show you the demo that I will be doing today. So in here, Dynamics is a platform, and you can use our IP on top of Dynamics in any capacity. So you could be a general contractor that use our system. You could be a construction management firm. You could be a design firm. You could be an architect. You could be an owner, or you could be a subspecialty contractor, like I mentioned as well. But for the sake of this demonstration, I am going to be role playing a general contractor role, and I'll be showcasing as if I am the general contractor and I'm managing a project within the system. So that's kind of what I will be showcasing as I walk you through the demonstration. And I'll be using a UCSD. We are based in San Diego, so University of California, San Diego building extension project, just to showcase some of the feature sets to you. So with that, I am going to jump to the demonstration. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So you can see in here, these are the things I want to cover. And the first one is field service. And Faz also asked a question related to field service. So I will start with that. Let me just bring that in. Give me 1 second. Okay. My screen. All right. So I showed you this project scheduler. This is just the same thing. What I'm doing here is I have a task which is install shingles. I'm going to assign it to a subcontractor who does not, I don't want for them to pay for my system. And then I'm going to show you how we can track their time. So for example, I'll come in here and I go and I say, okay, this is my task. I have 4 hours actual here at 32 duration. I'm going to assign it to myself. So I put myself in here. And as I do that, you see it's 12% complete in here. My expectation is that now my subcontractor, which here happens to be myself, would be able to see this task on their mobile app. And this mobile app comes free with our platform. So you just refresh it, you see I see this task here. I can click on this task. And again, I'm using a roofing example here. I can click on this image camera icon, and I can take any images as I'm on site. So I can just add those images. I'm just doing it in my office for the sake of this example. So I'll take a few images to show you how they can be done. If I have a purchase order against this vendor, and or I am a subcontractor, I can select my PO as well, so that the general contractor could track my hours against the PO that I have. And then I just save it. And then I can also, either I can just click the task as complete, or we have a feature that you can also track time. So I'm going to say that my day started at 9 and it finished at 6. So I have like 9 hours that I'm putting in, and I'm going to hit the create button. And with that, it is going to record my time in the system. At that stage, I can do more. I don't have to submit it as yet, but I can also hit complete service. And if I do that, then it is going to report back to the scheduler that, okay, my task has had 9 hours on it. So I'm going to hit done here. And once I'm done, I'll go back to the scheduler and I'll show you by refreshing the scheduler that it will change this task from 12% to, you can see it's 41% now. And what I have is I have gone from 4 hours to 13 hours. Sorry, 4 hours to 13 hours here, and total estimated remains 32%. So essentially, this is one aspect of my field force management where I have a field team that I can work with to track their time. Now, this is more project focused, right? But again, we deal with a lot of scenarios where we have field service focus. So for that, we generally use just the out-of-the-box module in Dynamics. So this is my scheduler that your superintendent would probably use, who wants to have the team go out and do work on the work orders. So I can select any work order, and you can see I can see it on the map. It's showing me all of the people that I have in the system and when they are available, who is booked, who is not booked. I can go between different months here as well, and I can choose a slot that works for them. You can see Mahmoud is one of my field service folks who is booked, but I can select another one here, and I can say I want to book Rob on this at this time slot because it's available. So it's showing me that this is where he's going. This is the start date and the end date, and I hit this book button, and it is going to book Rob. So this is just a booking piece, and you see it showing up on his schedule now that he'll be working on this work order 298. And if I want, I can click on this work order and I can see all the details of this work order as well. I can go into this, the requirements and all that stuff. And now for this piece, I have a different app that I want to demonstrate to you. So if I go back to my demos here, they will see it on this app, which is my field service app. And again, so he sees the work order and he can start traveling to the location as you saw on the map. So he can set the status as traveling. At any given time, I am at the back end tracking how much time he's spending in traveling. When he gets to that location, what happens from there. But essentially, he can start working on the work order that I have assigned to him. And I have all the feature sets here. So you can see field service, scheduling. And within that work order, I can have my tasks that I want them to do. Again, building on that roofing example, what I have here is that if I show you and go to my work order services in this section, you can see it's like assess roof condition, make repairs. And I can click on all of them, and one by one, I can go through a questionnaire that I have and track the hours that I have as well. And if I try to save it and I haven't filled all the fields, I can have validation where it's forcing me, is there any damage on the roof? And I can select all that information. And as this person puts in all this information, all of that information I can track on the project as well. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you on the field service side of things that we talked about. I'm going to pause here. Faz, do we have any additional questions right now?
Yes, actually, we got one question. So can BUILDFitters be used for subspecialty contractors?
Absolutely. Like I shared in my previous slide, I am showing the general contractor flow, but that's not the only flow we have. So you can absolutely have a subspecialty contractor flow. And then if you're a subspecialty contractor, you might be working with foremen and journeymen mostly. So you can absolutely have them. We have the provision to be able to do their dailies, bring in all those details related to the dailies and so on and so forth.
Okay, sounds good. And we just had one more question actually. It's quite actually an interesting one. They say, we are a roofing company. Can we use BUILDFitters?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've already incorporated some demonstrations because I know that we have lots of registrants who were roofing firms. So absolutely, you can use that. The estimation that I showed you, the front end, was more roofing specific, but we have some videos as well that we can send over to you after this webinar that you'll be able to use for that purpose.
Sounds good. Also, Tayyib, I just wanted to take this opportunity to select our poll and launch it. The one question we have for the audience, if that's good with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Sounds good. 1 second. So there you go. So we'll just give them about 30 seconds to just select one answer.
Yeah, I don't see the poll, but it's open. I can see that, so it's good.
Yes, actually we cannot vote because we're organizers, but yes, it is open.
Sounds good.
Just give them another 10 seconds. Okay, so it looks like we have a split 50-50 between Dynamics 365 and Procore.
Awesome. All right, great. So next thing I want to showcase to you guys, and I'm smiling because we run into Procore all the time. But we have contract management is what I want to show you here. So I'm going to just bring back my screen. So this is the project management module that I was showcasing to you. The same thing, I have teams here. I have my schedule in here. But the piece that I want to focus on right now is the contract. So navigation, again, spend a lot of time on it to make it easy. So if I go to the project, here is my contract. Every project needs to have a contract. And there's a build up to the contract that we're not going to cover in this, but you can have a pre-construction, pre-estimation, then it leads to a contract. But I'm going to just open up the contract here. And I want to show you the details of the contract here. So you can see in this case, as I was preparing for the demo, I did go through the whole pre-construction phase, but I won't go deeper into that. It's telling me that I am bidding to UCSD, and that is my end user as well. Again, this is relevant because not relevant for general contractors, to be honest, but if I were a subspecialty contractor, I could be bidding to a general contractor, but the end user could be UCSD. So that's why we have that provision. Like I said, it's more of a platform and you can use it in different personas and roles. If I click on details up in here, that's where I see the breakdown of everything. So it's telling me that I have a contract on the Elliott field, which is my site that I have. Here's the price for this, the cost total that I have for this, and what type of service I'm providing. You can provide different types, and you can see LNTP, limited notice to proceed. No, we have the actual contract signed. And here are my project details. I was already on the project, but I can click on this and I can open up the project as well. What I also have is that I was telling you that when you as a general contractor do the whole estimation within our system, it generates the budget as soon as you generate the contract from that estimation that you have. So you can see in here, I have original customer price for different cost codes in here. I have my revised customer price, my original budget, my revised budget. And one thing that you would notice, or I'll point out so that you could notice, is that you have the labor cost code here, and you see that the original budget was 2,500, but the revised budget is 3,500. And as we know that a big challenge we have is change orders. This is because it means that there is a change request or change order of $1,000 here. So if I go to my change orders, you will see that our system also allows you to manage change orders, and you can see that there's a $1,000 change order in here. And I can click on that and it will show me whether it had a change to the cost. Yes. Change to scope. Yes. I have an estimated of $1,000, which aspects were impacted. 1.8, which is other labor cost and cost code, other labor was impacted by this change order. So it kind of helps me track all of these details right in here. So I can quickly go in and see, and it automatically generates this template for you that is ready to be signed by your customer in case you have change requests that you have in here. By the way, based on the flow, design, build, design, review, build, you can have the flows in there as well, where everything you do can go through architectural review to your architectural firms or your construction firms and so on and so forth. One thing that I haven't covered as yet on the contract level is that you have your whole labor pricing. We have this, and I showed some of this to you when I was talking about the estimation, but you can have different labor codes, unit of measure, their pricing. You can have same thing for materials in there as well. You can have your liquidated damages section. You can track those. You can have a safety section. You can track all of your safety documents. But one other thing is that as you finalize your subcontractors or vendors based on your procurement piece within pre-construction, you sign contracts with vendors that you onboard. And this contract module shows you, and we refer to them as child contracts, which are contracts with your vendors. So you can see Bechtel, which is providing me cement. I have a contract with them. Prestige Concrete is providing me concrete. I have a contract here with them. And I can open up and I can see all the details of these contracts as well. So I would, discard this. Give me 1 second. And I can go in here and it will say, okay, this is my Prestige Concrete contract. I can see what labor pricing did they offer me. I have POs from them as well. And I'll show you some of this detail in a second. But I can go in here and I can see all these details for this subcontractor on a project level. So that's kind of what we have available to us within the contract so that we could track all the details. Last but not least, I have budget snapshots. So as I change my budget, it take snapshots of those in different versions so that you could always trace back and see how your budget evolved from the start of the project to the end. And that again is very, very important for reporting. It could be important for any additional feature set that you want to provide to your organization. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover on the contract module here. I'm going to go back to the project because rest of the things that I want to show you are mostly on the project. So if I go back to my slide deck here, so there now it's time again to focus a little bit on project scheduling, tasks and milestones, submittals and RFIs, document management, collaboration. What I want to do is I want to show you, first of all, dashboarding capability in the platform. So let me go in here and I click on dashboards. Let's go to my project management report. So as you will have many projects, we have in here dashboards that are incorporated into BuildFitter as IP, and that they're canned dashboards for you. So you have this dashboard that is going to show you all of your projects and your project status, your project name, your project manager. You can review it by customer, and you can see total actual cost, total revenue you have in the pipe, actual work that is being done. So this is holistic, right? Across all of your 29 customers here and 48 projects that you have. And I can scroll down in here and it shows me all the details. So total actual cost versus estimated. I have all those details kind of listed in here as well. So if I filter it, and by the way, I can filter it just by clicking on these as well. So if I want to go by structural, which is my project type, it will show me that detail. And here I have like a detailed line item view where I can click on the project and it will open up the project and I can go into the details. And I also have my purchase orders showing up for different vendors that I have. I'll talk more about purchase orders later. But obviously, as a project manager, you're more focused on the project that you're working on. So I will say I want to open a UCSD project that I was showcasing to you. So I just select that, and as soon as I do that, it just filters everything on it. And you can see it brings in the actual numbers for this project. I can go in here and I can see how I'm doing on this project. If I want to open this project, I can just click on that and it will open this project for me. I can go through all these POs that I have in the system as well. So it's a very robust dashboard, and we have lots of other dashboards. I talked about RFIs and submittals. So our system allows you to do RFIs. I won't show you that. I've covered that in a webinar before, but you can also see at any given point in time how many total RFI I have in the system, how many of them are open, how many of them are completed, overdue RFIs, and so on and so forth. That's all in there. Your submittals reporting is in there as well. So I'll just give it a second to load. And through this, I can track my submittals in the system as well. Which stage am I in when I created those submittals? So in pre-construction stage, in construction stage, in the project stage. And I can filter quickly on these. How many of them are in architectural review? 16. So I click on that, and now it's going to just show me the 16 that are in architectural review right in here. So I can quickly, and then I can click back on this and it will start showing everything again. So I can track all these details. So very robust reporting. Not, by the way, it's not just in this system. You can pull data from other systems as well and showcase that in here. Going back to my project, and I have it, I felt I had it pinned in there, but I don't. So I'm just gonna go to my project from here. Just give me 1 second. Any other questions you have for me while I'm opening up my project?
Actually, no, at the moment, we don't have any more questions.
Perfect. So I'm going to open up my project here again. Just bear with me. Okay. So within this project, the next thing, as you can see, I want to show you is vendor management and procurement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back this project. And I would probably like to show you this in more like pre-construction phase, but just for the sake of this demo, because it carries over. As you generate your project, you have the procurement section. And from your estimates to budgets to project, it brings in all the material and the equipment and the services that you need for this project. So you can see in here For this project, I need cement, concrete, glass, install roofing, and all that stuff. So what we have done is we have built this add-on module, which is referred as Open Vendor Pre-Qualification. And all this material becomes available to you as a procurement person. And you can select from your system, who do you want to use for this material? So for example, let's say I need these 5 material to deliver this project. I can say, okay, who are the cement vendors I have in my system who are pre-qualified? And it's showing me a list of all of them now. And I can then say, okay, I want to use Bechtel for this. I can select them and I hit this button and it is going to add them to my selected vendors. Similarly, I can go in here and I can say, okay, now I want to go to concrete and I can select concrete and I can do that. And then what happens here is if you go to the vendor list, this is where they get added as you shortlist them. So I'm looking at them by vendor. So you see these are all the ones that I'm using, but I can also look at them by material, by service. So if I look at them by material for cement, I got a quotation from Bechtel for TE16, which is a very specific material for IDC, for concrete from Prestige Concrete Products. So I have a complete platform here to be able to manage my vendors and get their proposal and put them in the system. Other thing I have is I can create POs for this. For example, if I have this, once I have all these, I can go in and I can say, generate purchase orders so that we could start getting all this materials from all of these vendors that we have in the system. And you can see here, it shows me the vendors that I shortlisted. And I can say, okay, this vendor is going to provide this material on this site. And how many items do I want to receive there? And I can track all of that. And this automatically generates these for me if I just hit save and close here. And then I have my purchase order section where I'm tracking all of these purchase orders in the system. So you can see purchase order for my concrete provider, which is partially received, 40,000 total, it's approved. And I can also go into my material tracking and I can track all the materials as I am receiving them. So for example, it's telling me that for my concrete, I had estimated 25 cubic yards. I received 25 cubic yards. I have available 25 cubic yards and I've used nothing, versus for some of them, I can start using some of these as well. So that is kind of what is covered in the vendor management and the procurement section. So it kind of covers, to be honest, everything: vendor selection, vendor pre-qualification, purchase order generation, and we even have the whole process of sending the RFP out to them and bringing that in. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover from the project lifecycle management perspective. I already gave you an overview of the bid side, so I won't go into the details again. I want you to know that the document management module is very, very strong. We can generate documents from the system in any format with all of the information that is in the system. It automatically pulls in your scope of work. It automatically pulls in your inclusions and exclusions. You can templatize those things so you don't have to do them from scratch. So that is a huge module that we have. Any documents are integrated with DocuSign. So it can be sent over to your customers and they can sign it electronically. The vendors that I showed you the mobile app that they can use. They also have a portal that they can access. And any documents you exchange with them or you want them to sign, they can access that vendor management portal and they can provide their feedback on those documents there. So that's what I wanted to just share with you. In terms of the next steps here, I want you to know we have a free trial for our system. You can use it for up to a couple of weeks and you can evaluate it. We kind of become part of that journey with you, where we can answer any questions. We do offer initial discovery and design session with you as well. And the most important thing is, and the lesson learned that we have is when you're mapping your business processes to Dynamics or BuildFitter, you just have to take it one step at a time. The reason for that is it's a platform and it can do a lot of things for you. But if you start small, you are increasing the probability of success. So you will be able to probably start from one phase. You can do just project management, or you can do just maybe your bidding, or you can do your buyout phase, or even small aspects of it like field service or within field service, just the project scheduling side of things. So you can handle all of those and then just bring that in and then build upon that. And that's the whole point why we have the apps that we have. And I think with that, I'm open to any additional questions, Faz, if we have any.
So at the moment, we do not actually have any more questions.
Anybody who wants to ask any question, I still have like 13 minutes left here. So if you have any, I would be more than happy to answer.
Also, I would like to mention that the handouts are there are 4 handouts which the attendees can download, and there's a brochure, a BUILDFitters brochure, there's a BUILDFitters guide, BUILDFitters ebook, and then there's also some links to our YouTube channels which they can then check out.
That's awesome. Okay, I guess wait for 1 more minute here. So I think we don't have any questions. I'll just wrap it up then. Here is our contact information if you want to reach out to us. If you have any subsequent questions for us, please feel free to reach out and ask us those questions, and then we would love to follow up with you and connect with you and hopefully help you on your journey to optimize and improve your construction management. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taya, for the meeting. It was really good and informative. So thank you.